We're at the Mod booth. I'm Jesse from Mod Devices, and what we do is we built this computer in a box, basically. So we built this stage-ready stun box that can kind of replace your computer in a live environment. But it's also very usable in the studio because of the total recall that we have. So I've prepared a patch right here on the display, and what it does is we're using the device as kind of a USB MIDI host, but with a twist. And we're also doing a bit of audio processing. So because we have a USB MIDI input, we can connect a USB MIDI keyboard, obviously, and then process it a bit. So on the screen, we see two different MIDI chains. The top one is sending data to SYNTH 1 on the Novation circuit. Whereas the bottom chain is actually transposing the notes up, then mapping it to a different channel, generating a chord out of it, and strumming that chord. So if I press a button, you'll hear something like that. So what we can do now is we can actually play bass lines and generate a melody from there.
So basically your editor is software based, is it on the net, or is it available also as application, or because I see now it's on the internet, or it's on...
Yeah, we're running Google Chrome actually. So the thing is, when you plug in this device to your computer, the computer will recognize it as a kind of server. So then you just open your browser, go to an address, you don't need to install any software, and you can just get into this patcher window. You can also connect using a tablet, just put a Bluetooth dongle in the USB port, hook it up, and yeah, you can create your sounds. Once you press save, it will store it as a preset. You can disconnect it from your computer and take it with you. Don't need a computer at all anymore.
How many effects or stuff are available right now in the system?
So we have about 250 plugins available in our official repository. So those are available to everyone for free. Then we also have a community repository, which is about 450 plugins big, and it contains anywhere from awesome hidden gems to weird one-off plugins. It's the creations of our community.
Is this so open source, or how do you manage? Is it for third-party developers, or how open is it?
Yes, so we're open to third-party developers, but the plugins in the official part of the store, so the 250 plugins, they are either checked by us, designed by us, or polished by us in some way, so that we can guarantee that they will have a nice user experience. And the ones in the community store, they're completely managed by the community.
Okay.
So they're responsible for updating them as well, and if there's any bugs found by the community, then the developer will fix it.
They can ask a price for it, or they're always free, or?
So actually in a month we're going to be releasing a commercial plugin store, which will allow developers to ask a price for them.
Okay.
So in that case we'll also
it's a bit like a VCF rack in the modular world. For you it's in the effect world a bit.
Yeah, it's a bit like that.
And what is the aim now? Do you fix more the guitar side or more the synth side, or both, or what was the aim of it?
Well, originally the product was aimed at guitar players. You can see it from the foot switches, the handlebar to protect your feet from hitting the encoders, but also a bit of the design of the pedals. I mean, they probably recognize you of a couple of famous guitar brands. But as time progressed, we kind of figured out that a lot of synth players actually like this a lot, especially because of the ability to split connections. You can merge connections, you can even create feedback loops if you'd like to. So it's very flexible with that regard. If I may show you another sound, we have quite an interesting sound. Just to give an example of how crazy you could get. Let me find it.
So these are also available. You can creating MIDI stuff and effect stuff. Is it also possible to create synths or sound generators?
We have some sound generators in here. Actually, in this exact patch, we have a Yamaha DX10 simulation. But in this patch, we're not using it to generate sound that you can hear. Instead, we're using it to feed our sidechain compressor. So we actually have a feedback loop running here because of the weird patching capabilities. And the feedback loops get sidechained by a trigger from the Novation circuit. So let me just show you real quick. I'm gonna enable the feedback loop, and once I introduce some pink noise, it's gonna start running. So that's an example of what you could do. You can go completely nuts, create feedback loops, but you can also, of course, create a very straightforward pedal board with just some compressing and stuff like that. So yeah.
And it's already available, or do you have a store, or?
Yeah, it's directly available from our website, www.moddevices.com. And it's available for $699 or 674 euros.
It's only one version, or is the processing power is always the same? Yeah.
So at the moment we only have this one version. We do have plans to release upgrades for the processing power, because it's all the parts that can become obsolete, all the computer parts, they're actually on a single board that can be replaced. So they will be available for purchase in the future.
Because I can imagine that people are asking always at a big update or even more CPU power.
Oh yeah, of course, especially with CPU-hungry effects like pitch shifters. It's very desirable to have as much CPU power as you like. On the other hand, we have so much flexibility that the CPU power is also a bit of a necessary limitation. Because if you would have infinite CPU power, you would never be able to finish a sound. So this way you're kind of forced to work creatively. But yeah, of course, in the future there will be CPU upgrades so that there's way more CPU power available.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.